Honorable Justice Basir V.P. Mahoney of the High Court of the Gambia has handed down a 12-year prison sentence to Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera, who was convicted of treason. The ruling follows Justice Mahoney's determination that the evidence established Fadera's involvement in plotting to unlawfully overthrow the government of the Gambia. On the 23rd of January 2023, the State Law Office filed an indictment against Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera, Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, Corporal Omar Njai, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara. The prosecution accused them of treason and concealment of treason, alleging that the accused persons have prepared or endeavored to overthrow the government of the Gambia by unlawful means. Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera was also charged with inciting to mutiny, contrary to Section 40C of the Criminal Code, alleging that he attempted to incite one Sergeant Karamo Jada and one Captain Mamad Job to commit an act of mutiny. At the close of the prosecution case, Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Corporal Omar Njai made a no case to answer submission, which was upheld by the court in respect of Corporal Omar Njai only. Corporal Omar Njai was accordingly acquitted and discharged of all charges leveled against him. Delivering his judgment on Tuesday, Honorable Justice Basir V.P. Mahoney said the evidence presented by the prosecution concerning the treason charge leaves him with no doubt that Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera organized and attended a meeting in Kafuta to prepare for the overthrow of the government of the Gambia. Honorable Justice Mahoney found Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera guilty of treason, contrary to Section 35, subsection 1A of the Criminal Code, and convicted him of the same. However, Honorable Justice Mahoney said the prosecution has not proven their case against Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera in respect to the inciting of mutiny charge. Regarding the allegations brought against Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara, Honorable Justice Mahoney declared that after evaluating the evidence presented in court, the prosecution had failed to establish their guilt. Consequently, Honorable Justice Mahoney subsequently cleared Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara of all charges, acquitting and discharging them. Prior to the announcement of the sentencing decision, Counsel L.S. Camara, the lawyer who represented Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera throughout the trial, presented a plea for leniency, urging the court to impose a more lenient punishment on his client. Counsel L.S. Camara implored the court to balance justice with compassion, refraining from imposing a sentence of life imprisonment or the death penalty upon the defendant Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera. In response, the Director of Public Prosecution A.M. Yusuf, while representing the state, acknowledged the court's judgment but announced his intention to appeal the acquittal and discharge of Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara. Counsel A.M. Yusuf urged the court to remand them pending the hearing and determination of the appeal, arguing that treason is a capital offense even though there was no loss of life in this case. Counsel A.M. Yusuf said the nation would have suffered negative consequences if the coup had happened. In reply to the state lawyer, Counsel L.S. Camara objected to the state's application to remand Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara. He argues that there is no legal basis for remanding acquitted and discharged defendants. In his ruling on the arguments, Justice Mahoney stated that the convict, Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera, is a first-time offender and that the attempted treason was non-violent. However, he noted that treason is a capital offense. Therefore, he invokes Section 29 of the Criminal Code to sentence Lance Corporal Sanna Fadera to 12 years in prison. Honorable Justice Mahoney also granted bail to Petty Officer Jibril Dabo, Corporal Ibrahim Sano, and Sub-Inspector Fabakar Jawara at a sum of 100,000 each, with one Gambian surety, pending the hearing and determination of the state's appeal. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Landin Sise.